Yeah, they've shown all year that they're a very organized opponent. Their collective defending is probably one of their greatest strengths. And I think for us, it's really just understanding what the weaknesses are within that structure. It's a formation in which they can be aggressive, but at the same time they love to absorb pressure. And I think you look at their defenders, guys like Walker Zimmerman and Dave Romney that are excellent in the air and winning balls crossing. So it's how can we pull them into situations where they're not comfortable, right? Get them exposed in space versus being set up in their penalty box to defend crosses. And ultimately, it's going to take a lot of movement and quick ball movement, both on and off the ball, and rotating possession to expose those weaknesses. Yeah, Dyron, I think playing next to, a guy that's won everything, right? It's been a wonderful pleasure for me, and I think every game we're finding our relationship strengthening. I think we complement each other extremely well, and for me, it's just learning that and seeing every single day his professionalism, his consistency of mentality in training and games has been not only a good lesson for me, but I think for our entire team of how you can be at that level and get to that level, but then also sustain it. And Blaze is a wonderful professional, a guy that certainly is all about the team, and that's been wonderful for me as a teammate, playing directly next to him, but also I think for the entire group. Yeah, to answer the first part of the question, being an expansion team and stepping into the playoffs, I think we're just certainly excited to be here to start with. It was like Diego, I think, touched on. It was a goal of ours to make it into the playoffs, because if you make it into the playoffs, anything can happen. And I think for us, that's a huge buoying point for us as an entire group. But at the same time, look, your question lends itself ironically to the fact that it's two expansion teams playing each other in the first game, right? So I think for either one of us, it's history will be made, right? So for us, it's like I touched on Michelle's question, understanding how we can win the game, how we can hurt them and score goals. Because ultimately, it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of effort from all of us. But as I've seen in my career through MLS playoff games, it's anything can happen truly. And in now one-off situations, it just which team can take advantage of their opportunities when they have them. And like we said, it's a team that defends well, but at the same time can be exposed. And we have to take those opportunities as well as keeping a shutout out the back. Absolutely. It's a playoff game. There's always pressure. I think you have to understand that we want to win and we want to step on the field knowing that it won't be easy, but knowing that we can win. And I think if you're not feeling pressure, if you're not feeling the excitement to go and win a game, then something's wrong. And for us, that's certainly a rallying point for us. The match itself, I think, playoff games are unpredictable. You could say that we think it's going to come out and be cagey, and it could be 4-3. You never know with these one-off games. But I do think for them, being the home team, wanting to necessarily be the aggressor, they will certainly maybe try to control the game a little bit more than they would if they were the away team. And they have players that in possession do a great job. You look at their central midfielders, guys like McCarty and Godoy that are very comfortable in possession, as well as they're really the link to finding their most dangerous players, Leal and Mukhtar. So for them, I think they want to assert themselves in a positive way with the ball. And for us, I think that's beneficial in the sense that it gets them out of their shell somewhat. The more space that we can create in between lines, when we win the ball, as we've shown throughout the season, when we win the ball from a defensive perspective and counterattack, we've been very, very dangerous. So in a way, I think it's beneficial for us that if they want to be the aggressor in the game, it will help us not only gain confidence by pressing and winning the ball, but also just creating space. And as we look into what and how we've prepared for this game, the Cincinnati game was certainly something where there were so many things surrounding it and a lot of things indicative of South Florida, I guess you could say. I thought hurricane season was over. But we were just so happy to not only have qualified, but also feel like we were rewarded for what's been a difficult year, right? And the staff was very generous in giving us a couple of days off to decompress and just kind of relax before what we knew was going to be some intense preparation for this game. And like I've said throughout this press conference, it's something where we've just tried to highlight what they tend to do on both sides of the ball, and then how we can counteract that, as well as assert our own style within that. So the preparation's been good. We've been focused. We've worked hard. And ultimately now you just want to play the game. Yeah. First and foremost, to the point of the fluid situation, right? Everyone's been adapting in every sector of the world throughout this entire year. And I think, to the league's credit, I think they've done a very, very good job, whether it be the MLS bubble and MLS is back in Orlando, to how they've handled these games throughout the regular season, so to speak. And ultimately, in the biggest games, you want all your players available. And I think it makes a lot of sense that protocols being in place and being abided by, that we can allow that to happen in our sense with Rodolfo. So we're very happy, absolutely, to have him available, as well as for the group in general, as we step into this game and the excitement surrounding it. We've, like I touched on, we've had to suffer in many ways, and it's never easy. My first experience is in a expansion team, but us as a group moving through it and finding that ultimately we want to make the playoffs. We made the playoffs. Ultimately, now we're in the playoffs. What can we go do? And I think it's something where it's a brand new season in our minds. It's a brand new objective to try to shoot for and reach, and now we have that opportunity.